We are now joined by Kyle Busch. If you have questions for Kyle, please raise your hand. We will get a wireless microphone to you. Questions for Kyle Busch. We'll start in the front with Bob.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. Are you going to RCR next year?
I do not have any new news to share. If I did, I guarantee you there would be some sort of big announcement. So, unfortunately, there hasn't been one of those yet, Bob. So, we're still working on it behind the scenes, trying to put it all together. It's not done.
Go next to Claire B. Lang.
As a follow-up, Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, are you more hopeful than you were a week ago? You said you had a couple of offers on the table. I know you're not going to make an announcement today, but people are kind of gauging your mood. And
I'm in a really bad one right now, in case you were wondering.
Which has nothing to do with what you have going on, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, how's your mood related to what you're trying to put together?
Yeah, just same as it's been, just stressful. There's light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train, it is sunshine, so that's a positive thing. But trying to figure all that out and keep the train on the tracks right now for a little bit longer.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Jeff Gluck.
Is it fair to say you've at least reached the point that you know what you want to do next year? You know what direction you want to go in?
I think no, because I woke up, 6 in the morning. That's probably not too early, but it's really early for me, folks. 2 days ago, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh man, Brexton, what are we going to do with Brexton if this happens, if that happens, if this goes, if that goes, if we do that, if we do this? So it was like, now I've got him thrown into the whole mix. So it's crazy. Clearer pictures are developing during the day. So, pixels are being worked on.
We'll go next to Dustin, then the Lee.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You have talked about, among the many things that have been circulating in your mind is KBM. And one of two things. One, what was it like to see that group win with the uncertainty that's going on? And how much is that still consuming some of the things that you're trying to work through at this point?
Yeah, no, I'm proud of the effort, super proud of, John Hunter, KBM, Eric Phillips, everybody over there that has continued to put forth the effort to make us, the winningest truck program in history and continue to excel and elevate those numbers. So super cool to see that. There's three of our trucks moved on last night to the next round of the playoffs, respectively, for their own situation. And so I like what's coming up next. Bristol, obviously. Chandler, been super fast there as of late. John Hunter's no slouch there either. He could have, should have won last year as well. So good stuff coming with the KBM bunch.
So do you feel like there's starting to be more clarity? I know TV talked about even last night that Eric Phillips wasn't going to be returning. So are things starting to go through the change at this point, and are you starting to feel comfortable with where that's at?
No, I'm definitely not comfortable with where that's at yet. So trying to put all the things in the right places simultaneously was the objective and the goal. It's not going to happen that way, but we will certainly keep fighting for that to make sure that KBM is at the forefront, and we've got a place to go race trucks next year.
And one other thing is obviously a big topic has been safety. I know you've talked about it Media Day somewhat. Kevin Harvick came in here and talked about what he felt like was a slow progression of it. Obviously some changes were made. Do you feel like things are moving in a better direction? Is it still way behind? I don't know if you were aware of what Harvick said today or not, and if you are, okay. But just do you feel like there's a better dialogue, or do you feel like that's nothing has changed in your mind and from like when you talked at Media Day a week or so ago?
I believe I have an email from the driver council lady, but I have yet to read it, so I don't know exactly. Wouldn't be fair for me to assess my comments on that right now.
We'll go next to Lee and then to Chris.
To kind of follow up on what Dustin was saying, John Hunter got kind of emotional last night talking about Eric Phillips, and clearly they've got a familial bond, but what has Eric Phillips meant to your organization just over the course of the time, and how would you characterize his contribution?
It's invaluable. I can't put it into words, really, especially the way I speak of things. I'm not very good. But Eric is a huge part of and is what Kyle Busch Motorsports history has been about. So, first guy I probably got was Greg Passon, my buddy of mine who's worked at KBM since the inception, worked with me at Billy Ballou, but past him was Rick Wren, and then Eric Phillips was number 2, you know what I mean? So, or 3 if you look at it that way. But, yeah, I mean, he's been a huge inspiration to everything that we've done there, and he's a racer's racer. In the truck series, you can do that and be successful at that. You don't have the huge engineering influx of, Cup teams, Xfinity teams, all that stuff. When we did go Xfinity racing, the first year we brought on really experienced guys from another team, and we weren't as great as I thought we could have, should have been. Kurt won. I finished second, I think, 6 times or something that year. So, but Eric then took over the reins of that the next year, and I thought they ran very respectable for what they had to endure and deal with. And then he went on to go do his own things at JGR for a few years, and then came back for the 2-year stint with John Hunter. So that was always kind of the understanding between he and I, was the John Hunter piece. And, not knowing what our driver lineup looks like at all right now. I think he kind of sees maybe a little bit more clearer picture than I do. And so he got a really good offer to go somewhere else. And so I said, I can't hold you back. Like, go take it, go do it.
And from an emotional standpoint, and how invested you are in KBM, and as you said, the most successful truck operation, if things don't look like they do now, what would it mean to get one last championship with that organization this year?
Yeah, I mean, go out on a high, great, sure, but that's not what we want. We want to win the championship this year, sure, but we don't want to go out. We don't want to be done. We want to keep fighting and race on into next year, and that's the intent, and that's everybody's intentions that we have. And the 50 employees that we have at KBM, I'm fighting every damn day for all of that stuff and to make sure that we go forward.
Chris?
ChrisKnight@Catchments.com. Kyle, can you give your assessment on Corey Heim and what you've seen from him this season?
Yeah, I mean, Corey's done a really good job. Won early, was fast, had a lot of good results, better results, arguably, than maybe I did in the 51. So, I would say that last couple maybe not as good as I would have hoped, but I think that him carrying on and being smart and being smooth and just doing the job he needs to do for us with the 51 to keep it eligible all the way to Phoenix. If we have 3 trucks eligible for an owner's championship at Phoenix, I mean, that's I'll feel a lot like Joe did in 2019. It's ours to lose. So, looking forward to those guys carrying that on and with good momentum.
Caleb?
Caleb Vessel, SpeedwayDigest.com. Kyle, what are your thoughts going to North Wilkesboro next year for the All-Star race?
I think it's cool. I think a lot of drivers kind of made note of that or made mention of that. Careful, though, there's aliens around there. Spaceships come in the middle of the night, so don't be there with the lights off. But overall, yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. I think they saw a packed house there last week, and great racing all around, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, all that sort of stuff. So, real proud of SMI's involvement, Dale Jr.'s involvement, all those guys that made that come to life. And so I think it's pretty cool. So look forward to getting back there. I've never been there. I guess I need to go test.
We'll go next to
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Kyle, I've heard from a lot of people that have gone to talk to you, not to give you a job or something, but to say, hey, we're behind you, we know what you're going through, or, various people. What kind of reaction have you had? Have you had some support from people that are not in your quest to find a contract, but have said, hey, Kyle, we just want to tell you good luck? Or have you gotten some surprising, people coming to talk to you and saying you go,
A little bit, yeah. I mean, not anything too crazy, I would say. I feel like there's been a lot of support, from a few individuals maybe I wouldn't have thought reach out. So to answer that question, yeah, which is nice. But other than that, I would say it's kind of business as usual. And almost, sometimes you walk around and people are a little leery to say, hey, man, how's it going today? Because they know it ain't going good. So they don't even bring it up. They're like, oh, Kyle's here.
Jeff.
Since excuse me, since RCR is at least an option on one you're considered, how did you even get to the point with Childress where you could consider driving for him after the moment here 11 years ago, the hold my watch thing? Like, how did you guys get to this point where you could even be civil, I guess?
Who's to say he hasn't punched me again in any of these conversations? Whenever you go into negotiations, it's never fun, so you're duking the whole time. So, yeah, no, I think you grow up and you work through things and you talk it over. Really, it was fine the first time I sat down with him. Everything was okay, and biggest thing about it was just having the opportunity to kind of put that behind us. No different than going on the Dale Jr. download and talking about 2008 and crashing at Richmond. You know what I mean? So just you get through it and you talk about it and life moves on.
Go next to Bob, and then we'll finish with Justin.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. Do you know what happened with the engine last week? And do you know whether, are there any concerns this weekend that the same issue could occur?
The best I know is that the issue that happened at Richmond at the 45 car, the issue that happened with the 20 at Watkins Glen, with me at Watkins Glen. I think Denny had one somewhere in practice. I'm not sure. And then mine last weekend, they were all the same issue. So they keep seeing it over and over. And what's interesting is like the road course package isn't necessarily the mile-and-a-half package. So they didn't think that that would transfer over, but it did. So they've made some adjustments to some internals, and hopefully we don't see it going forward. Excuse me? What about the gearbox? No, engine's what let go, right? Yeah.
Justin Farmer, KCOU. Kyle, what's been the biggest change in terms of the industry you've seen while going through this free agency E-Class?
Drivers ain't making what they used to anymore. It's fact. I was fortunate enough to be in a really, really, really good spot for a long time and had good leverage there to, get paid very well. And, anytime you look at other opportunities out there that, they can only go so far and they can only do so much. And they don't know you and you haven't spent the time there, fast forward 15 years from now, wherever the hell I go, will I have a better chance of negotiating a better deal than my current one or whatnot? Then I would agree that that's probably a good assessment.
Well, Kyle, thanks for taking the time to join us, and good luck this weekend.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world.